In the last video, we looked at how we could use Guide to set up guides for the grid system that we want to use. And at this point, we have a document that has those guides already set up, and we also have this sketch. So what we need to do now is bring this sketch to life in the form of a wireframe to give us some idea as to how all this content will fit into place. Now, in this sketch, you'll notice I've already established height values for each of these sections. 600 for this main area, 250 for the About section, 600 for the Team area, so on and so forth. Now, in most situations, you'll have this sketch right next to you, but because we're working off of my sketch, you may want to capture these values by jotting them down, but if you don't, I'll remind you of what they are. This is important because what we want to do next with this document that we set up in the last video is add some horizontal guides so we can quickly and easily see each of the sections within the site. So what we want to do is add some guides. Now, there's a couple different ways that you can add guides. You can always click and drag from the ruler up here towards the top. We know that the header section is 80 pixels, so as you click and drag, you'll see a little tooltip up here, and that's telling you where you are in terms of the Y position. And here we can see that we're at 80 pixels, so I know if I let go of the mouse, I'm dropping that guide in the correct location. Something else that you may want to do is have the info panel open. It will also give you readout information in terms of where those guides will be. But because we already know where we want the guides to be set up based upon the height values of the different sections, really the easiest way to add the guides is to come up to the View menu, and from the View menu, you can choose New Guide. This will open up a dialog box, and you can decide if you want to add a new horizontal or vertical guide. So for this example, of course, we're going to be adding horizontal guides. We know that this main section is going to be 600 pixels, but we have to account for the header area as well. So the next guide that we want to place within the document should be positioned at 680 pixels. Go ahead and click OK. Once you click OK, that guide is added. The next section, based upon the sketch, is the About section, which is 250 pixels high. So again, it's simple. All we have to do is come up to the View menu, and from there we can choose New Guide. It will open up the New Guide dialog box. We need to add 250 pixels to the previous location of 680 pixels, and that's going to give us a value of 930 pixels. Go ahead and click OK, and it drops the guide in the correct location. The next section, based upon the sketch that we're working with, is this Team section, which will also be 600 pixels high. So we're going to come back and come up to the View menu, and from there we can choose New Guide. We want to drop this guide at 1530. So we'll go ahead and type that in, and that's going to give us a height of 600 pixels for this section. The next section is the Map section. It too is 600 pixels. So again, we'll just come up to the View menu and choose New Guide. And in this dialog box, we want to drop this guide at 2130 pixels. And again, that's going to give us a height of 600 pixels based upon the previous location of this horizontal guide, which is 1530. Go ahead and click OK. That gives us 600 pixels for the map. And the remainder of the document will be the footer section within the layout. So we've established the grid system that we're going to use, and we set up a guide for that grid system, and we also set up horizontal guides to represent each of the horizontal areas within this layout. What we're ready to do next is start creating some content, and not real content, but simple shapes to represent real content so we can get a better feel for what this layout may look like.